say the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. I say the darker the flesh, then the deeper the roots. I give a holler to my sisters on welfare. Tupac cares, and don't nobody else care. And I know they like to beat you down a lot, and when you come around the block, brothers clown a lot. But please, don't cry, dry your eyes, never let up. Forgive, but don't forget, girl, keep your head up. And when he tells you you ain't nothing, don't believe him. And if he can't learn to love you, you should leave him. Cause sister, you don't need him. And I ain't trying to gas you up, I just call it how I see it. You know what makes me unhappy? When brothers make babies and leave a young mother to be a pappy. And since we all came from a woman, got our name from a woman, and our game from a woman, I wonder why we take from our women, why we rape our women. Do we hate our women? I think it's time we kill for our women, heal our women, be real to our women. Cause if we don't, we'll have a race of babies that'll hate the land.
One morning, armed police stormed into Afeni Shakur's apartment and arrested her. All the other members of her cell were also arrested. They were charged with what the government said was a giant plan to destroy those elements of society which the defendants call the power structure. They became known as the Panther 21. It revealed that 3 of the founding members of the group had been undercover police officers, but also the most active members of the group. Unlike all the other Panthers, Afeni Shakur chose to defend herself. And at the end of the trial, she cross-examined the leading undercover agent. He was the man she had suspected from the start, Yedwa Sudan. His real name was Ralph White. A journalist who was in the courtroom wrote a book that described what happened. She started by getting White to admit that really most of the inspiration for the plots came from the undercover agents. Not only had they continually pushed for the violence and suggested the targets, but they had also arranged to buy the dynamite of yet another undercover agent. They had also arranged for the cars to transport the dynamite. But really, the plot to attack America had been created and driven by the American authorities. But then Afeni Shakur went further. She talked to White in the courtroom, not as a police officer, but as a comrade that she had spent 18 months with, and asked him about the activism that they had done together in the community. He said that he thought what they had done was powerful, inspiring, and, he said, beautiful. She asked if he had misrepresented the Panthers to his police bosses. He said yes. She asked if he had betrayed the community. He said yes. The jury was sent out. They talked for 40 minutes, came back and acquitted all the defendants. It was a powerful example of how an individual could challenge those in power and win.
I'm a human being, you know what I'm saying? And I go through smiles, tears, laughter, all that. You know, I'm a Gemini too, which makes it even that much more complicated, so I can flip any second. But relatively, if I'm happy, everybody's happy. But as long as there's things going on that people are not happy at, that's when Tupac will start flipping. Asada Shakur, Fred Hampton, these are people my mother used to talk to me about. Other role models, Harriet Tubman, a lot of females, because my mother wouldn't let me just go for the Sidney Poitier role model thing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
She used to push it to me to notice and recognize strong black females. So those were some of them. That's why you have to be real. A role model. I want to be, instead of a role model, I want to be a real model. Because a role is a role. You know what I'm saying? If I always play like I'm so goody-goody, then somebody see me doing something bad that every human being has to go through, and they're going to go, wait a minute, he ain't cool, you know what I'm saying? Then I'll let him down. But if I be me, I can never let anybody down, because I'm going to have to be me. Right. I don't want anybody to follow me whatsoever. I don't want an army. What I want you to do is to listen. And I'm telling you, in my album, in the movie, in this interview, hopefully I show people mistakes I made, and then they don't have to make that same mistake. And by me being real and telling you exactly what I did and not glorifying it or making it look better, then they'll see it for exactly what it was. Okay. It's an experience. I was reading New York Post when I was doing the movie Juice, and it was this story. It started out to be this big story about this family who died because they didn't have heat and they left the gas on. Everybody died except for this girl. She moved in with her cousins, second cousins. She started dating her second cousin. He got her pregnant. Nobody noticed she was pregnant. I was like, dang. And it was over a week. But the story kept getting smaller, smaller, and smaller. And I was like, this is like very important, more important than Juice. To me, it was a bigger story than Juice. And right now, nobody talks about that. No young black males, no black males talk about black females like we should. We need to take more responsibilities for our sisters, because if we don't, who will? Look at it, black females are held lower on the totem pole than anybody. Bishop is a survivor, you know what I'm saying? And Tupac is a survivor. You are a survivor. We all are. So therefore, we put in a position to whereas we got to survive, you shall do it. Bishop thought that was his way to survive. The only way for him to get out was to murder people. So that's what he did. I wouldn't say it was rougher than any other young black male out there. We all have it bad. Young black male, young black sisters, excuse me. We all got it bad. I call it ghetto gospel. That's when people, look and see something in you, and they might give something, don't know why they're doing it, but they just do it. That's what it was. Ghetto people. I had a lot of ghetto mamas, ghetto brothers, a lot of people who doing a lot of illegal stuff now. They looked out for me, you know what I'm saying? I really don't. Like when people ask me, well, when are you going to think about when people start saying you curse too much? I don't give up. What are you going to think about when they say that, God shouldn't have 2 earrings? I don't give up. What are you going to think about brothers saying, why you sticking up for the females? You must be sprung. I don't give up. What are you going to say when the police stop you and they say you can't do? I don't give up. We got to stand up at some point and just stop stuttering. Like Sister Soldier says, I give her maximum props. Stop stuttering, stop knee buckling, and just say what you mean and say it loud. So everybody here, you can only be wrong once. But all this cowardly lying, standing behind the speaker stuff, we got to come out and say what we got to say.
If you're writing your music for the guy at the office, then Public Enemy is doing a bad job. But if they were doing their music for black people or for people who want to come to a better understanding on how things really are, then they did a good job. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to see the true picture. You know what I'm saying? I don't care if he feels uncomfortable. Because what about when I felt uncomfortable for 400 years? You know what I'm saying? Then now all of a sudden it's bad to talk about some real. Anytime somebody pulls a trigger or there's any kind of gunshot, everybody starts running for cover. But everybody's really doing all this shooting in the streets. You know what I'm saying? All this Iran-Contra stuff and that war, all that's violence to me. That's real violence. What we're talking about is fake violence. All this, what we're rapping, it happens in the streets, but us rapping about it is not the violence. And the movie about it is not the violence. You know what I'm saying? It's an adventure world that we are creating. Trying to get out, what we're doing is using our brain to get out of the ghetto any way we can. So we tell these stories, you know what I'm saying? And they tend to be violent because our world tends to be filled with violence. I would rather tell a young black male to educate his mind, arm yourself, and be free and defend yourself than, just sit there and turn the other cheek. So whatever message that sends out, that's the kind of message it is.
No, but precisely in the film, sort of things degenerate when Bishop does arm himself.
But he didn't educate his mind.
That's true.
That was just violence. It had nothing to do with his brain. It had nothing to do. He used the wrong targets. That's absolutely wrong, and I know everybody's going to see that when they see the movie. He didn't do anything to help himself get out of his situation. And in fact, Q was closest to getting out of his situation. He used his mind. When you use your brain, it doesn't always have to come to a violent end, but sometimes it does, and that's all that I'm saying. That is a choice.
Yeah, I think that
they
the
give
movie
us
shows that it's definitely a choice.
They never show you that, okay, the cop's beating on you. You have a choice. Violence to defend yourself, you know what I'm saying? Turn the other cheek or wait for the news cameras to come and talk about it.
Like Rodney King.
Like Rodney King. I'm talking about doing it. You know what I'm saying? I'm really, it's happened to me. The police beat me up in the middle of the street for no reason, just simply because I cursed at them, because they were harassing me and I cursed at them. Now they beat me up. Now, in reality, I couldn't shoot them like in my rhymes. I would say, you know what I'm saying, pow, pow, you know what I'm saying? It was a shootout, but I couldn't do that in reality. But in my rhymes, it vents that anger because I can, you know, fire back at the police and won't go to jail for life. You know what I'm saying?
Because it's just words.
Right. And my music, and a lot of this music, it's only talking about the oppressed rising up against the oppressor. That's all. That's what my music's about. The oppressed rising up against the oppressor. So if only people that's scared are the oppressors. The only people who could have any harm coming to them are those who oppress. Simple as that.
You mean the only people that have anything to worry about?
Mm-hmm.
But it seems to me that the people that are being oppressed are the ones who have a lot to worry about too, because they're the ones that are getting beat on every day or not.
Right, and that's why they need to start, you know what I'm saying, striking back, beating back.
So now, why would you choose acting as a career when it's going to be harder compared to all the visibility that you can get with music, or do you plan to continue?
I'm doing both. I'm still in Digital Underground.
Solo album doing?
My solo album, Tupacalypse now, is out in the stores, doing good. I still got music with Digital Underground. That album is doing very well. So it's all just basically showing and proving. I'm made it out, and I want to stay out. And I want to show by my actions and by my interviews that this is how you stay out. You know what I'm saying? And it's still real. I'm still that young black man. I didn't turn into, you know, Arsenio or Cosby. You know what I'm saying? I'm still the same man.
Those people don't say anything to you. They're the people that are the most visible to young people today.
Those are the people who I admire. I've been, like in all these other interviews, I know people are going to trip because I've been down on these people. But what I failed to say was how much I admired these people. You know what I'm saying? Like Spike Lee and Arsenio Hall. I admired these people. Eddie Murphy, these people who I wanted to get into the business for. And they got into the business and didn't give me any way to get in. You know what I'm saying? It took earnest to get me in. kill this whole new vibe everybody want to be on about it being a war between the East Coast and the West Coast.
Right.
It's really just a problem with two rappers.
I saw Pac 20 minutes before he got shot. I saw Pac in Vegas, about to get into the car. He's coming out the hotel. And we walked off, and we got in the cab, and they got into Bentleys and all that other stuff. And, you know, we went on to another party, and 20 minutes later, we heard Pac got shot.
I was at Warren G's house in the living room. I think we was playing a video game, and we kept getting a whole bunch of calls and pages.
I remember calling Afeni and saying, Faye, do I need to get on a plane right now? She said, Jada, he's gonna be okay. You get here when you can.
I had went to see him when he was still alive. And I said a little prayer to him in his head and held his hand and whispered at him, you know, said my piece with him. You know, he didn't have no consciousness, but I felt like my spirit and his spirit connected, and I felt like he got it.
My mother knocks on the hotel door. Will opens the door. As soon as I see her face, I knew he was gone.
I cried like my mother cried when Marvin Gaye died.
He was one of my best friends. He was like a brother. And sorry. He was I mean, it was beyond friendship for us, you know, as far as just, it's really difficult to explain because the type of relationship we had, you only get that once in a lifetime, so he was like a brother, father figure to me. Very protective, and we took really good care of each other. We took really good care of each other, the best that we could. But we gave each other a lot.
He been everywhere. He lived in New York, Oakland, here, there. He had so many stories. He had so many, you know what I mean? Everybody else was from one hood. We could tell you about how it is in our hood. He could tell you about how it was in different hoods all over. He could tell you about how it was in the Black Panthers. He could tell you, you know what I mean? So anybody who didn't listen to Pac and just shrugged off what he was saying is just out here talking or whatever. It was missing a jewel. It was missing something that they could have took with for the rest of their life. And I'm glad that I was. He was so much of an influence. You know, he with me forever. You know what I mean? For life.
Pac, for us, the Outlawz, the younger dudes in the family, he was like our champion.
Tupac was an old soul, an old spiritual soul, knowing things, having the wisdom of someone having been here for 70 years that was shoved into this crazy 17-year-old body. She used to tell me, yeah, but I'm not your typical 23-year-old. And after I knew him for 2 or 3 years, he used to say, put that in the legacy. Write that down in the legacy. And I thought, boy, this ain't no legacy. And it was.
Just had a family meeting and Mom told us about something, a bill couldn't get paid or a struggle we was about to face. It was clear with the two of us that all I had to do was be a little girl and he would take care of it. Our conversations then turned into, don't worry, said, I'm going to make sure things are okay. He was completely nurturing and actually maternal. So he was our provider. I mean, if you think about it, even to when he died, he was 25, no kids, no wife, no anything, and he actually took care of his entire family, and that was him.
Tupac was a complete man. And looking at that movie, we realized once again how much we missed him in our life. We missed his laughter. We missed his criticism. We missed his energy all day. We missed his anger because his anger helped motivate us. His anger was because he saw more greatness in us than we saw in ourselves. And he thought we were a little too slow on the get up. So we missed that. I missed that. I guess he had to die so that we could sit and talk about him because he liked that. So he loved the fact that somebody's talking about him all the time, that his music is heard, that he still causes controversy, that people still wonder whether he's dead or alive, that people still argue about him, that some people like him, some people don't, some people imitating him, that there's the controversy. He loved that. He's not somewhere quiet. He's probably somewhere cracking up because he was a jester.
What made Tupac happy is to see his family succeed, and see his family. He was a family person. He was Tupac. He never changed. I mean, when he became a star and stuff, he still like Tupac was of old. I couldn't see nothing different, except he just had them bodyguards watching after me, you know.
I learned from Tupac that you can do and be whatever you want to be in this world, and you could really come and start from nothing. He proved that to me. I've seen it with my own eyes, because it's not like we came from a family of lawyers and doctors. No. Drug dealers, militants, drug abusers. He pulled up from all that and did his thing. And he proved that you can do it.
I'm not gonna say he had a charmed life, but he was blessed. And you already knew that he was blessed. People was attracted to him. I mean, people used to fight to babysit him. The whole neighborhood, man, all the girls, the pretty girls, you know. He was a ladies' man. Yeah, he was a ladies' man at 1 year old. I mean, it was quite obvious that that boy was going to be something special. Quite obvious.
He was a loving person, and you know, he was our friend. He was our family member. He was someone who was dear to us. And you know, the loss, you know, of him was just very devastating, and you know, very real.
A lot of little things that he did inspires my life today to make me who I am, and I love him, and I'm grateful to God and to his mom and daddy and to my mother and to all my family for cultivating a person like Tupac in my life.
I always knew that Tupac was talented and creative, but the other thing I always knew was the weight that he carried. He came here, the son of a person who was a radical in this country. This country does not look kindly on those people. So I always understood that Tupac couldn't just be an entertainer. He had to understand who he was, and that didn't mean running around dancing and jumping up and down. You know, I'm a dance through everything. I don't believe you can. So I always knew that Tupac was special. That is not to say that I ever had a clue that Tupac would be the person that he was, produce the material that he produced, and have the perseverance that he had and the passion that he had. I didn't know that any more than anybody else did. But I did know that my son was special, and I taught my children that they were special.
And now a moment of silence. Let us pray. And as you journey into outer space, may the angels help to lead the way. May the prayers that our families make shine upon your soul and keep you safe. And all the homies that had passed away is there to greet you as you pass the gates. And as you head to the tunnel's light, I hope it leads to eternal life. We say the prayer for the homie Pop.
Would you just smile?
For love. I lay awake tonight because I wanna be with you. If you were beside me, I'll playfully kiss you. Each time I see you, the feeling gets stronger. We sit a bit closer and stare a lot longer. Reach for my drink and for a second we touch. Word to mother I stuck, cause I want you that much. The situation is a no-win, cause he's my best friend. But now I'm guilty, I'm falling for his girlfriend. It's like a trap that I'm sinking into. I wake up sweaty when I'm sleeping cause I'm thinking of you. Then we make eye contact and I can't hold it back. Trying to shake it but the feeling comes right back. Now I'm confused cause I'm no Casanova. But you keep calling me saying to come over. What do I do? It make it hard for me to choose.
Tell me, you heard me.
What I want to do for love. Tupac in the house. What's your name? Scars, tears on your pillow when you still stay. As you sit and pray, hoping the beatings will go away. It wasn't always a hit and run relationship. It used to be love, happiness, and companionship. Way back when he treated you good, moved you up to the hills, out the ills, up the ghetto. You felt as though you owed him your life, it felt right. So you said yes, now you're really his wife. He got you pregnant, but the baby just wouldn't let. Something she couldn't give, so things got negative. Then that's when a stranger came in, and he's pestering you about the things you couldn't do. You say you're happy at home, right? But that's just a lie as you cry through a long night. Until I came to rescue you, making you choose what you want to for love. And you don't stop, and you don't stop in the house, what you want to for love. And you don't stop, and you don't stop what you want to. Yo, Snoop, kick your vocals while I be giving my shout outs to my homies, you know what I'm saying? Man, Shop G is in the house. Yeah, Smoothie Snoop's in the house. Yeah, Kush is in the house. Yeah, Ryan D is in the house. Yeah, Clark Gable's in the house. Yeah, Rick Rock's in the house. Yeah, Steve is in the house. And Money P, you know he's in the house. P.P.'s in the house. The Underground is in the house. And the J-Town is in the house. Yeah, in the house. Uptown is in the house. Richtown is in the house. Look like she got tinted windows and shit. What you want to speak I heard it all. What you want to? I heard it all. Hey, Shot, let me have the key to your room, man. Hey, yo, we out of here, man. Yo, you got some girls in your room? Yeah. You got some drink? Yo, Mo. Hey, Mo, come on. Hey, let's go get something to eat. We gonna go get
Muzyka Deniz 7.
say the darker the berry, the sweeter the juice. I say the darker the flesh, then the deeper the roots. I give a holler to my sisters on welfare. Tupac cares, don't nobody else care. And I know they like to beat you down a lot, and when you come around the block, brothers clown a lot. But please, don't cry, dry your eyes, never let up. Forgive, but don't forget, girl, keep your head up. And when he tells you you ain't nothing, don't believe him. And if he can't learn to love you, you should leave him. Cause sister, you don't need him. And I ain't trying to gas you up, I just call it how I See, you know what makes me unhappy? When brothers make babies and leave a young mother to be a pappy. And since we all came from a woman, got our name from a woman and our game from a woman, I wonder why we take from our women, why we rape our women. Do we hate our women? I think it's time we kill for our women, heal our women, be real to our women. Cause if we don't, we'll have a race of babies that'll hate the ladies that make the babies. And since the man can't make one, he has no right to tell a woman when and where to create one. So will the real men get up? I know you fed up, ladies, but keep your head up. Things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Keep your head up. Things are gonna get easier. Ooh, child, things will get brighter. Keep your head